following paid program is furnished by the Coalition. It's for basic entertainment and informational purposes only and is solely responsible for its content. It does not necessarily reflect the views of Cumulus Media, its management, or its staff. News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM WPRO presents The Coalition with hosts Pat Ford and Dane Fisher. Join them now for their signature brand of smash mouth, no holds barred, no topic too controversial political talk. Join their nuanced discussions of local, state, and national politics and opinions that lie well outside the political mainstream. Now, here's Pat Ford and Dane Fisher.
And yes, we are the Coalition, loud and proud, outrage porn-free, civilly disobedient radio, broadcasting live from the Radio Worldwide network of Coalition Radio. On the web, our brandy new redesigned website, coalitionradio.us, facebook.com/The Coalition Radio, on the mighty Twitter at Coalition_radio. We stream, we blog. This week, of course, we feature our regular Coalition contributor, none other than Ethan Giles, a member of the Elorza Ethics Commission. He opines on the crisis in ethics here in Rhode Island. Of course, that can be found on our blog page at coalitionradio.us. I am joined live with my erstwhile, hard-hitting, web-obsessed co-host, Dave Fisher. Dave, welcome back for another highly entertaining week.
I have been a little over-focused on the web the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Dave is in the bunker at an undisclosed location, along with Dick Cheney, redesigning the Coalition website as we speak at every waking moment. If he's not, I wake him the hell up.
He doesn't call me at like 2 a.m. or anything like that.
No, of course not.
Never happens.
And what is a common cry? Dave, entertain me.
For those of you who don't know it, Pat is a 12-year-old boy in a middle-aged man's body. He really lacks any type of ability to put off gratification at any level.
And barriers are a problem.
Yeah, and quickly loses interest in things and moves on to what seems to be the next big thing.
Exactly. And as my friends will tell you, the few that I've been able to maintain, it's a gift. Another, as we always say, another wild week here in the Little Rhodey. Halitosis Hall is obsessed with finding new ways to spend money on our behalf. We've got a couple of great guests both calling in and in the studio. Joining us later in the show is, of course, Rebecca Neves McGoldrick, Executive Director of Protecting Families First. We will have, I think, a really interesting parallel conversation that, in a sense, chimes in very well with one of the epic themes of this show, which is, of course, the failed war on drugs. But joining us on the line right now to address yet another, let's roll out a tax program from our erstwhile Governor Gina Raimondi, is Dee Sutherland. Dee, are you out there?
I am here. How are you?
Great. A little background, first of all. Dee Sutherland is a principal with the real estate firms of Williams & Stewart, headquartered here in Cranston, Rhode Island, offices throughout the state. If you're familiar as a regular PRO listener with that firm, of course, you will know Paul Zarella, who is the host of the Real Estate Insiders, which broadcasts live every Sunday from 10 to 11 o'clock. Really destination radio. The great thing about Paul and Dee's show and the firm show is that, unlike the other sort of happy talk, we've got a house to show you kind of real estate shows, it's hard-hitting, it's informative, it's practical, it's pragmatic. Everything. In fact, if you own a house, if you've ever lived in a house, if you're thinking of living in a house, or would like to buy a house, you simply need to listen to the show. It's destination radio.
I'm thinking about moving off the grid. Never mind living in a house. I'm thinking, a yurt somewhere.
You want to get taxed? Move to Rhode Island.
wait. Right now, someone, and we know one of Gina's...
My rental yurt?
One of Gina's minions is listening to the show, and they're rapidly Googling the term yurt, and trying to figure that into this week's legislation. So, Dee, we find ourselves in another real estate crisis just a few weeks post-mortem on the infamous Taylor Swift tax. And by the way, go to TaylorSwiftTax.com if you want to see our coverage of that. We have got
that was a victory.
That was a victory.
That was a victory, huge,
right.
and we're very happy for that. And this is kind of tailing on that, like the last thing this state needs is more taxes. It doesn't matter what it is. It's almost like you're penalizing people for investing back into the state. And we simply don't need that here in an already competitive and recovering market.
Address, if you will. First of all, let's talk about the tax. What we're effectively doing, and again, this is yet another poorly thought out, haphazardly implemented, Judy, let's do a show kind of program. I mean, you get the sense that there's this increasing desperation on behalf of the Raimondi administration to find new things to tax, and when those don't work, the increasingly desperate effort to come up with it's almost like they're playing beat the clock. Like if they don't think of something soon, whether it be the tolls, the Taylor Swift tax, the vacation home tax, on and on and on.
Right.
Well, I picture it like an episode of The Family Feud.
Situation here in Rhode Island, very top heavy. But my problem is that we keep trying to attack the ones that are, working hard. They're taxpayers. Rental tax. I mean, are those with short-term rentals? They're not taking anything from those municipalities. They're not sending their kids to those schools. They're in there on vacation, and to spring that on them that, okay, by the way, I know you booked your vacation 6 months ago, but we're going to slap a tax on there that you had no intention of paying when you probably worked very hard to save that money to take your family on vacation in the first place, within your own state even. I mean, how many states do you actually live in, work in, and vacation in?
Right.
Rhode Island.
And
go to the beach house.
And now this tax, too, seems to be disproportionately aimed right at the heart of the working middle class, doesn't it?
Well, in general. I mean, Rhode Islanders in general, we're almost getting punished for what makes us special. Oceanfront, we're the ocean state. Waterfront, these are things that draw people to us, and for people to, get punished for that, to me is a little crazy.
Well, to tax these properties, I think it's fair. What you said is, these are the properties. These are not $1 million homes. These are small kind of beach houses that are being rented out largely I would assume, by people from other parts of Rhode Island that are taking a week off to go. But it also seems so counterintuitive and disingenuous to me on the heels of this kind of reimagining of our tourism, to try to bolster this tourism that we have here in the state, to then immediately slap a tax on tourism for the most part.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, I completely agree with that sentiment.
Just a few weeks ago, we had the folks from the South County Tourism Board. Miranda George was in studio here, and we spent a great deal of time focusing on the rather unique nature of South County, to which this tax seems charged right at. In South County, you've got predominantly family-owned businesses, many of whom have been around 50, 75, 100-plus years, family-owned restaurants, family-owned vacation properties, non-chain, family-owned, locally held hotels and motels.
You remember when Rhode Island was a small business capital of the world?
Right.
Remember that?
It wasn't that long ago.
Before they started taxing everyone out of the state.
Right. So you've got this new tax, which, and again, the irony here is one of the few economic success stories of this state is, in fact, tourism. So you've got this tax aimed at like a dagger at the heart of South County. Mm-hmm. And number one, we don't even know how we're going to implement this. This is
it's
going
probably going to cost more just to police it. I mean, just by the time they implement it, and then they have to, collect the data, enforce it, and police it. I mean,
So just quickly, give us an idea of what the parameters of this tax would be. I mean, what's being taxed? I mean, at least what's being proposed. What will be taxed? What won't be taxed?
As far as I'm aware, it's a 13% tax on tenants, which 6% would be a hotel tax and 7% would be a sales tax. It would require homeowners to collect taxes from tenants on short-term rentals of homes and condominiums. So basically,
what's defined as short term? A week, a month?
Anything under 15 days.
Okay. So this is basically targeting vacationing families.
Basically, people that may even have a family home that they maintain and that they hope. Like in my mind, I see it more like like the baby boomers that might have a retirement home down in South County that they bought when they were working 2 jobs and putting their kids through school, and someday when the empty nest happens, they're going to get to move to their house down by the beach. And, but in the meantime, if you could rent that a couple of weeks in the summer, that might pay your taxes, your home insurance. It kind of allows you to be able to maintain that property until you can get to it. And again, we're just investing in our own state. We're just, rather than taking the money and bringing it somewhere else, they're investing right here and at home.
Right. So in an era when folks from the dreaded private sector are facing increasing retirement insecurity, the ability to invest in a property and rent it out on a small business-like level is not only their right, but it's actually fundamental for them gaining some type of equity in a highly challenged, highly difficult real estate market.
And they're paying taxes already on that income, which is crazy. They have to report the income from investment properties on their taxes. So in a weird way, I'm kind of like, well, why do they have to do it twice? I'm confused. I'm confused. Well,
not only let's go down the pathology here. First of all, they paid taxes to buy the house. There's transfer fees and things like that, as you know, as a real estate professional. Mm-hmm. Then they pay an ongoing property tax to own the house. Fair enough. They're a member of a community, even though that house may not ever hold someone who's ever going to participate in a school system, a youth soccer league, or any of the typical costs associated with
supporting the municipality.
Right. Mm-hmm. So then, on top of that, as you mentioned, they're paying taxes on any income they derive from it. Okay. So now, on top of that, so it's quadruple taxation.
Well, what's going to happen is the taxes are going to get passed on to the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
It's not even, you're punishing the people investing, and then you're also punishing the consumer who rented the beach house for their family, who had no anticipation of this unforeseen fee that just kind of was like, hey, why don't we try this?
And let's not also, this is a statewide property tax, which, again, the thing that really sticks in my craw about all these proposals is you're doing the exact opposite of what they should be doing, which is taking power away from municipalities, the power to tax and regulate property taxes in their communities, and giving it to the state, which, frankly, historically has not worked out well for us.
Right.
Well, what even happens now that you're paying that extra tax that you did not anticipate? That was going to the mini golf course, that was going to the movies, that was going down the pier, that was going to ice cream rides, whatever. So now you're taking, the vacation kitty, if you will, and you're saying, oh, by the way, we're taxing you for that.
That's one less meal for that family that's vacationing at the Matunic Oyster Bowl.
I think at the end of the day, everybody's just working hard. Everybody's just working hard. And we have a beautiful state, and every day I am trying to sell the beauty of this state, and we've got more people moving out of it than moving into it. And it makes my job very hard to try and keep people here and get people here. As far as relocation business, there's a lot more people going out than coming in. And I think all of these unnecessary taxes are part of the reason.
And let's look at the motivation for the tax. And this is what I find breathtaking because, as I like to say, I'm not a smart man, but here is the logic as it's been presented by the Raimondi administration. They are going to take this tax to invest in programs that will create jobs. So in order to save this village, we effectively have to burn it. We will destroy jobs in a Byzantine quest to create money to then use government employees to create jobs. Is it me, or does that make absolutely no economic sense whatsoever?
Well, I think you're also asking people, you're already asking people to report their income, and then now you're going to tax them twice. I think it's just going to be a difficult situation for people that own rental properties. I think what's going to happen is people may want to, sell them. They're going to have to sell them at a lower price if this tax even happens. And it's all a downward spiral. We're trying to recover. We're trying to get rid of the short sales and the foreclosures and all of these distressed properties. And that's an opportunity for people to invest in these distressed properties as an investment, as something to fix up and make more beautiful and add value to an entire neighborhood. It's so organic. It's more than just, taxing an extra property. We're trying to rebuild what, unfortunately, was lost. And then to tax that in order for it to support itself seems unfair in my mind.
And let's put a human face on this. 2 or 3 of my favorite places in the world are in South County. So Crazy Burger is obviously just a great joint. On the other end, you've got the Oyster House in Matunic, and of course you've got the Ocean Mist. Mm-hmm. So those are 3 businesses which rely on the discretionary income by and large, of the vacationing public. How likely is that one of those great establishments will be shortchanged as a result of this transfer of